Okay, picture this. Two people. They live in the exact same city, they walk the exact same streets, and honestly, they probably grab their morning iced coffee from the exact same shop. But right beneath the surface, they are on a collision course with two completely different financial destinies. So what's the hidden variable here? What actually separates the truly wealthy from, well, everybody else? In today's Explainer, we're decoding a fascinating concept from the Wealth Codex. We're digging into the quiet, often totally ignored money lessons that separate the people who build lasting wealth from the ones who stay permanently stuck on the financial treadmill.
Let's just dive right into this bizarre paradox. So you've got person A, they earn $50,000 a year. And then you've got person B, bringing in a massive $250,000 a year. Fast forward 20 years. The first person, the one making 50 grand, is completely financially free. They own their time. But that second person, the one who pulled in $250,000 every single year, they are drowning in debt, stressed out, feeling trapped, and literally broke.
So, how is that even possible? I mean, take a second and really think about it, because the answer completely rewires how society tells us to view success. The cold hard truth is that wealth has almost nothing to do with how much money you make, and it has absolutely everything to do with how you behave. But, if income isn't the big secret, what is?
Well, that brings us to Section 1, the income illusion.
We are fed this massive myth from the literal second we enter the workforce. It's this belief that if you just hustle harder, right? If you just secure that next promotion, all your financial anxiety is just going to magically vanish. But reality, it tells a very different story. It's what we call the raise trap. Think about it. Someone gets a raise at work. Almost immediately, they justify buying a bigger car. A few months later, they upgrade and move into a bigger home. They end up spending more overall, inflating their lifestyle to match their new paycheck exactly to the penny. And somehow, despite making way more money than they did 5 years ago, they're still living paycheck to paycheck. And this right here perfectly highlights the core disconnect. Making money, that's just step one. And sure, it's absolutely crucial. But keeping money, that is a completely different skill. And growing that money is another skill entirely. The crazy thing is, very few people ever actually sit down to learn the difference between these three steps. They burn all their energy on step one, and they leave the other two completely empty, which kind of begs the question, why do so many really smart people fail at this?
Let's look at Section 2, Math versus Behavior.
Look, if building wealth was just about being incredibly smart or, being some sort of human calculator, then the wealthiest people on Earth would all be math professors and quantum physicists. But they aren't. Some of the absolute smartest, most highly educated people in the world have lost literal fortunes. Meanwhile, totally ordinary people, teachers, mail carriers, janitors, quietly become multimillionaires. Why? Because managing money is not just a math problem, it is a profound psychological and behavioral game.
The habits that actually create wealth are almost painfully simple. You spend less than you earn, you invest consistently, you avoid making wild emotional decisions during market panics, and you just have to be patient. Look, none of these habits are flashy. They are definitely not going to get you 1 million views on social media. But over time, these unexciting, everyday choices, they become the incredibly powerful secret behavioral engines of the rich.
Which leads perfectly into Section 3, the silent engine of time.
In our modern world, everybody wants fast money. We're totally obsessed with overnight success stories, crypto windfalls, and this whole lottery mentality. Almost nobody wants slow wealth. But here's the reality. Slow wealth is exactly how the vast majority of real fortunes are actually built. It's exactly like planting a tree. In year 1, you plant the seed. You don't go out and dig it up every single week just to check its roots, right? By year 5, you start seeing some small, consistent growth. By year 10, deep roots have formed. And by year 20, you've got this massive tree standing strong, capable of weathering almost any storm. Money works the exact same way. You really have to reframe boring patience as your ultimate financial superpower. Small investments, made consistently over many years, grow into something genuinely remarkable.
Because the wealthy aren't always the ones who invest the most money. They are very often just the ones who stay invested the longest. Consistent time in the market is vastly superior to raw talent, perfect timing, or even having massive initial capital. Time literally does the heavy lifting for you, if you let it. But if time is the hero of our story, there is definitely a villain.
Let's uncover that in Section 4, the invisible nature of wealth.
Okay, we really need to talk about a massive psychological trap, one that actively destroys more wealth than most stock market crashes ever could. It's the social media illusion. Seriously, every single time you open an app, you're bombarded with this manufactured reality that everyone else is super rich. You see the luxury cars, the insanely expensive vacations, the pristine designer lifestyles. But what you do not see is the crushing debt hiding right behind those images. You don't see the late-night anxiety. You don't see the suffocating monthly payments. Far too many people are going deeply into debt, spending money they literally do not have, simply to impress people they don't even know.
So that guy driving the flashy new luxury car in the lane next to you, he might actually be struggling just to keep the lights on at home. Meanwhile, the person driving a 10-year-old kind of dented sedan a few cars back, they might have a $1 million investment portfolio quietly compounding in the background. Real lasting wealth is completely invisible to the naked eye. Because true wealth is the money you haven't spent.
There's this great quote, "Never confuse appearance with wealth." Let that sink in for a second. Looking rich and actually being wealthy, they are often complete and total opposites.
All right, moving into our final chapter, Section 5, the ultimate currency, freedom. To truly master the concepts in this explainer, we have to completely redefine what money actually is, and more importantly, what it is we are truly trying to buy with it. Most people think they just want a giant pile of money, but honestly, they don't. What they really want is freedom. The real goal here is the freedom to choose exactly how you spend your Tuesday morning, the freedom to live exactly where you want to live, the freedom to work strictly because you want to, and not because you have a mountain of bills literally forcing you out of bed. At the end of the day, money is simply a survival tool. Freedom, true, absolute autonomy over your life, that is the ultimate prize we are all actually hunting for.
Before we wrap up, I want to ask you a very direct, honestly, kind of gut punch question. If your income stopped tomorrow, how many months could you survive without earning another single dollar? Take a moment and really think carefully about that answer. Because for some, it's just a few weeks. For others, it's a few years.
The absolutely crucial point here is this. True wealth is not measured by what you spend. It's measured by how long you can remain free. Wealth equals time. When you finally shift your mindset from money buys things to money buys time, your entire financial trajectory changes forever.
Let's recap. Behavior beats income. Time beats talent. Playing the comparison game will absolutely destroy your financial progress. Real wealth is almost always invisible, and ultimately, freedom is the goal. Remember, the absolute best time to start building wealth was years ago, but the second best time, that's today. So ask yourself, what is one financial habit you're clinging to right now that is quietly stealing your freedom tomorrow?